Chosen ones, you were never called into this moment by chance. The hour before sunrise is not just the turning of the earth, it is the sacred doorway between what was and what is yet to come. It is the hidden time when the heavens lean close, when the unseen watches you more intently than at any other moment of the day. Many dismiss these hours as shadows and silence, but in truth, they are alive with whispers of eternity. There are words, only 3, that carry the weight of ancient promises, words that shift the course of destiny when spoken with faith before the light of dawn breaks. These words are not bound to any ritual crafted by man, nor are they found in the shallow chants of the world. They are written in frequencies, stitched into your very spirit before you were born. The ancients guarded them. Scrolls hidden deep beneath ruined temples hinted at them. Prophets, when pressed under fire, spoke fragments of them as veiled warnings. Even in the forgotten texts that the Vatican itself concealed, the pattern of 3 is undeniable. 3 hours of trial, 3 days in the tomb, 3 flames of spirit descending. It is the number that signals completion, but it is also the number of awakening. And now, these 3 words are pressing upon your lips, waiting to be released. As the first light of day threatens to pierce the horizon, the unseen realm holds its breath. There is urgency in this, a reason your spirit feels restless at this hour. Heaven aligns with your step, angels lean forward to hear, and all creation strains for the vibration of your voice. For in those 3 words lies a miracle already prepared, one that waits for no delay, one that will not manifest unless spoken before sunrise. This is not superstition. This is alignment. What you will speak is not merely sound, it is covenant. The dawn does not rise without purpose, and your voice does not tremble without reason. You may wonder if your heart is ready, if your spirit is strong enough to carry this charge. The answer does not lie in strength, but in surrender. The dawn approaches, the silence grows thin, and all of creation waits for you to utter what has been hidden since the beginning. The air, before sunrise, is not empty, but alive with currents that most cannot perceive. The stillness is deceptive, for beneath it is movement, a weaving of energies that prepare to usher in the light. Many people sleep through this sacred passage unaware of the invitations being extended to their spirit. Yet there is always a whisper, subtle, almost imperceptible, that touches those who are sensitive enough to feel it. It brushes against the soul, like the faintest breeze on the back of the neck, carrying with it both warning and promise. It is in this whisper that the unlocking begins. For dawn is never simply about the turning of the earth, but about the revealing of mysteries that have long been hidden in the dark. Every ancient tradition recognized the potency of this threshold. The Egyptians guarded their temples more fiercely at dawn than any other time. The mystics of old rose before the first light, not out of ritual alone, but because they knew that the unseen was nearest in those moments. The whisper was sought, guarded, and treasured, because it was believed that whoever could hear it would carry favor throughout the day. Yet the whisper is not just ancient mythology. It is a living frequency that persists even now. It is often overlooked because of its softness. Loud voices demand attention, while whispers invite you to lean in closer. The whisper that stirs before dawn does not shout because it is not meant for the masses. It is meant for those who have ears to hear, and spirits awake enough to respond. To many it feels like intuition, to others like a memory they cannot explain, and to a rare few it arrives as a clear phrase lingering in the air. But whatever form it takes, it is always precise, always timed, and always laden with divine intent. The unlocking it brings is subtle at first, a sense of peace, a surge of clarity, a strange alignment where events seem to bend in your favor. What others call coincidence is often the unfolding of the whisper's work. It is in these moments that you realize the unseen has been waiting to partner with you, that your voice has a role to play in amplifying what was spoken in silence. Long before kingdoms rose and fell, there were scrolls that carried secrets too powerful for ordinary eyes. They were not simply records of history, but containers of frequencies, sealed with codes meant for a future generation to unlock. Scholars studied them, priests guarded them, and rulers tried to suppress them, yet the words never truly disappeared. They surfaced in fragments, etched on stone, whispered in hymns, and embedded in patterns that even the Vatican's archives could not erase. Within these scrolls lay the thread of 3 words, woven through passages like a melody only those with awakened spirits could hear. It was said that these words were first spoken when light separated from darkness, a declaration that set creation itself into motion. The prophets hinted at them in veiled phrases, hiding their meaning from enemies who sought to corrupt them. In certain texts, a peculiar repetition appears, always grouped in 3s, as though daring the seeker to look deeper. Even Yeshua's teachings carried subtle rhythms of 3, parables that folded upon themselves, guiding the attentive toward something hidden. The scrolls guarded these patterns because they were not meant to be easily grasped, only revealed in the appointed hour. Those who encountered the fragments often reported strange phenomena, dreams that would not fade upon waking, visions that unfolded with startling clarity, and encounters with messengers that seemed to stand outside of time. Some scribes wrote that when the words were spoken at dawn, the atmosphere would shift, and answers to long-standing questions would suddenly appear. These accounts were dismissed by many as superstition, yet the testimonies refused to die. Over centuries, they accumulated like sparks, hinting at a fire that had never gone out. What makes these scrolls different from ordinary writings is the breath behind them. They are alive in a way that transcends paper and ink. When one reads them with an open spirit, it feels less like studying a text and more like being read by the text itself. Every line pulls at hidden places within, stirring memories you did not know you carried. And always, just beneath the surface, there is the echo of 3 words, waiting to rise, pressing to be spoken. There is a reason the hours before dawn carry a weight that feels unlike any other time of day. The earth itself seems to hush, as though even creation understands the gravity of the threshold. Animals quiet their movements, winds grow still, and the world hangs in a delicate balance. In these rare moments, the heavens themselves appear to pause. The ancient seers described this silence not as absence, but as anticipation, a holding of breath before the breaking of light. It is as if every unseen force is waiting for a sound, a word, or a declaration to set the new day in motion. Those attuned to this pause have always testified that the atmosphere is charged, thick with an invisible current. It is not easily explained, for it is neither dream nor waking, but something that exists in between. Prophets would rise in these hours not by habit, but because they knew heaven leaned closest then. Their words, spoken at such a time, carried unusual authority, shaping outcomes that otherwise would never have shifted. This is why they described dawn not as the start of morning, but as the opening of a gate. To pass through that gate without awareness is to walk blindly into a day already written by others. To step through with intention, however, is to author the day alongside heaven itself. Yeshua once reminded his followers to remain awake in the hour when others slumber, for the spirit is willing even when the flesh is weak. His words echo like a call into these sacred pre-dawn pauses. They remind us that vigilance at the threshold is not a burden, but a privilege. For the unseen realm reveals itself to those willing to stay awake a little longer. It is in that stillness that clarity comes, a voice rising not from the chaos of thought, but from the depth of the spirit. The first rays of dawn have always carried more than light. They bear a resonance, a vibration that stretches beyond what the human ear can register. Within this resonance, the words of Yeshua continue to echo, unbound by time and untouched by decay. His voice is not confined to the past, for truth once spoken never loses its frequency. Every sunrise becomes a canvas for his words to be written again in the atmosphere, inviting those awake enough to receive them. The morning light is not silent. It carries reminders of promises already spoken and victories already secured. When Yeshua declared, "I am the light of the world," he was not simply describing himself, but unlocking a mystery woven into the fabric of creation. Light does not only banish darkness, it carries revelation. Those who rise before dawn and open their spirits often feel this stirring without understanding why. The atmosphere feels charged, hope swells without clear reason, and the heart trembles as though it hears a voice from a distance. It is the echo of his words traveling through time, layered over each sunrise, announcing once again that light has overcome. Many who walked with him testified that his words carried life, penetrating deeper than any blade. They cut through despair, pierced confusion, and healed what seemed unhealable. That quality has never faded. Even now, the same voice that calmed storms and summoned Lazarus from the grave reverberates through the morning. When the world is still and the horizon begins to glow, his words become easier to perceive. It is not always heard as audible sound, but as a pull in the spirit, a sudden clarity, or an undeniable peace that sweeps in unannounced. Yet his echoes are not meant to remain distant. They are meant to awaken the same power within those who listen. The light that stretches across the earth at dawn is more than sunlight. It is a reminder of a voice still speaking, still calling, still commanding life where there is none. But the echo always leads to something more, always points beyond itself. In the scriptures and in the testimonies of mystics, dawn has always been described as more than a natural event. It is a spiritual threshold, a place where time bends and eternity brushes against the mortal world. At this gate, watchers stand, not as guardians of the light itself, but as witnesses to what is spoken and released. Among them is one who is often seen in visions, a radiant being stationed at the very edge of sunrise, poised as though holding back the flood of day until the appointed moment. This angel is not a silent figure, but neither does it waste words. It waits for alignment, for the sound of faith rising from the earth to match the sound already established in the heavens. Legends speak of this angel as carrying a scroll of unspoken promises, sealed until dawn. Those who claim to have glimpsed it describe an overwhelming presence, a brilliance that seems woven of fire and light, yet filled with an authority that inspires both awe and trembling. The angel does not force its message upon anyone, for the gate of dawn is not meant to be entered by accident. Only those who rise with intention, only those who tune their spirits to the silence, encounter its presence. The angel is not a barrier, but a bridge, a reminder that heaven bends closest when earth is at its stillest. What makes this hour so significant is not just the angel's presence, but the way the atmosphere responds to it. Time feels different. The body senses an unseen weight, and the heart races without cause. In that moment, the veil grows thin. Some hear words like whispers carried on wind. Others feel a hand on their shoulder though no one is near. And a few see visions so vivid they leave marks on their waking life. The angel does not announce itself with thunder, but with invitation. And just as the first ray of light pierces the horizon, it is said that the angel looks toward the one who dares to stand awake, holding in its gaze the mystery of the morning. There are mysteries that live not in books or temples, but in the very strands of your being. Blood is not only the carrier of life, it is the vessel of memory. Within it are codes, stories, and frequencies that stretch back to the beginning, waiting for appointed times to awaken. Generations before you walked through trials, carried burdens, and spoke words that were sown like seeds into your line. Some of those seeds produced struggles you never asked for, yet others carried hidden treasures meant only for the one who would rise at the right moment. It is no accident that you feel a stirring now, for dawn has always been the hour when buried things rise to the surface. Science sees only sequences and strands, but the spirit recognizes something deeper. Your bloodline holds promises spoken over your ancestors, covenants that were never fully broken, prayers that lingered unanswered but not forgotten. These fragments wait like dormant embers until the breath of dawn stirs them back to life. When the heavens lean closest, the fire touches what has been hidden, and suddenly, the past does not remain buried. It calls out, demanding you to remember who you are and why you carry what you do. Even Yeshua traced his lineage back to ancient kings and prophets, reminding those who followed him that purpose does not stand in isolation, but in connection to those who came before. His life was the unfolding of a line woven carefully by divine design, and in that unfolding, every word of promise found its fulfillment. If his journey revealed the power of a bloodline awakened, how much more does yours carry within it the echoes of destinies waiting to be completed? When you rise at dawn and feel the weight of something greater pressing on your spirit, it is not imagination. It is your line calling out, the voices of those before you, urging you to take the step they could not. The awakening of your bloodline is not about what you inherit, but about what you release when the moment is right. The gate of dawn does not only open for the heavens, it opens for you, unlocking what has been waiting in silence. When the horizon begins to glow and the first light splits the darkness, it is not only the rising of the sun, but the unfolding of a deeper promise. Fire and light have always been symbols of purity, transformation, and revelation, but in the morning they carry an even greater weight. It was Yeshua who spoke of a fire already burning, a fire that could not be extinguished, one that would refine and ignite all who were willing to step into its glow. This fire is not destruction, but awakening, a flame that burns away what has bound the soul and reveals what has been hidden beneath layers of shadow. Each dawn carries this fire, a subtle radiance that is more than physical sunlight. It is a mantle draped across the earth, a reminder that the words he spoke are still alive, still echoing, still burning. When he declared, "Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the age," he tied his presence not to a place or a moment, but to every unfolding day. The fire of morning is a manifestation of that promise, a visible sign that his presence has not faded. To those who rise in these hours, it feels like warmth that settles deep within the spirit, a certainty that no darkness has the final word. This promise wrapped in fire has been misunderstood by many. Some see only the outer glow and miss the inner transformation. Others feel the heat but run from it, afraid of what it might consume. Yet those who remain, those who allow the morning fire to touch them, discover a refining that does not destroy but strengthens. It strips away the illusions of the night and sets the heart in alignment with the eternal. To stand in that light is to stand in covenant, for his words are not bound to parchment, but to the rhythm of creation itself. Each sunrise becomes an altar, each flame across the sky a reminder that he is still speaking, still guiding, still fulfilling what was promised. But the fire does not reveal its full purpose immediately. It lingers, it burns gently, as if waiting for the one who dares to step closer and ask what lies beyond the glow. There are moments in history when divine messengers are described not as fleeting visions, but as presences that altered the very fabric of reality. Among these, the seraphim stand apart, beings of fire and light who carry mysteries that few have dared to approach. Their wings are not simply symbols of flight, but of covering, of guarding truths too powerful to be revealed all at once. It is whispered through ancient writings that within those wings, folded and hidden, rests a key, not of iron or stone, but of revelation. This key does not open doors made by human hands, but gateways in the unseen, thresholds that stand between what is ordinary and what is eternal. Those who have glimpsed such visions often describe a weight, a holy fear that presses upon them, as if the very air has thickened. They speak of light too radiant to endure, voices that sound like rivers colliding, and wings that stretch endlessly, as though covering both earth and heaven at once. In these encounters, it is never the spectacle that matters most, but the sense that something is being offered, something small, yet infinitely valuable. The hidden key is never shown carelessly, for it is not meant to be taken by the curious, but received by the faithful. The role of the seraphim is not merely to guard, but to release at the appointed time. When they draw near at dawn, it is because heaven is ready to entrust what has been locked away. The key they carry unlocks not palaces of gold, but chambers of understanding within the human spirit. To hold such a key is to suddenly see connections where once there was confusion, to sense doors opening within that you did not know existed. It is revelation, sudden and sharp, like light flooding into a sealed room. Yet the key is never forced into the hand. The wings remain folded until there is alignment, until the one who waits has chosen to rise with expectation rather than habit. And even when it is given, the key does not reveal its purpose immediately. It rests, humming with potential, as though waiting for the precise lock it was forged to fit. There are words that are casual, spoken and forgotten in an instant. And then there are words that carry weight far beyond the moment they are uttered. Throughout the ages, 3 words have been guarded like fire in the bones of prophets, whispered in shadows, hidden in scrolls, and sealed away from the reach of those who would misuse them. They are not ordinary speech, but vibrations, sounds that bend reality, because they are tethered to the very breath of creation. To speak them at dawn is to align not just with the rhythm of a new day, but with the eternal flow of heaven itself. The ancients hinted at their existence without ever writing them plainly. Some called them the dawn words, others the covenant phrase. Their descriptions always carried the same theme. Time itself seemed to falter when they were released. Events shifted, chains broke, alignments snapped into place, as though the fabric of history responded to a single sound. These words are not magic, nor are they formula, but covenant frequencies as designed to awaken what has slept too long. When spoken with faith, they move through generations, repairing what was fractured, restoring what was stolen, and accelerating what had been delayed. Yeshua himself declared that heaven and earth would pass away, but his words would never fade. His statement revealed the eternal nature of words rooted in truth. If his words still echo in the morning light, then the 3 words hidden within the dawn are woven with the same unshakable power. They cannot be silenced by governments, erased by scholars, or buried by skeptics. They are etched into the blueprint of creation, waiting only for the moment someone dares to release them into the stillness before sunrise. To carry such words is to hold a responsibility, for they are not meant to be spoken casually. They demand surrender, a heart unburdened by doubt, and a spirit willing to bear the weight of what unfolds. When they are spoken, time itself seems to bow, as though reality acknowledges the authority of the sound. But what happens after is never the same for any 2 souls. There is a wait to the final hour before the sun pierces the horizon, a silence that feels alive, as though the whole earth holds its breath. Time slows in ways that cannot be explained, the night reluctant to release its grip, while the morning waits to surge forward. It is in this tension, this fragile space between endings and beginnings, that the greatest mysteries unfold. The ancients called it the hour of reckoning, the moment when hidden things are judged and released, when the unseen world rearranges itself according to what is spoken. To sleep through it is to miss the summons, but to stand awake in it is to feel the pulse of eternity against your chest. In this hour, the air feels thicker, the veil thinner, and the spirit restless. Dreams grow vivid, stirring as the warning of what is about to arrive. Shadows linger longer than they should, and yet the sky begins to soften with faint hues of light that promise something inevitable. It is the threshold where the past cannot follow, where the future rushes to meet you, and where your voice becomes the deciding factor of what takes shape. Every word, every whisper, every breath carries more weight than at any other time, for heaven itself leans near to record what is spoken. It is no coincidence that Yeshua often prayed in these hours, withdrawing to lonely places before the dawn. His pattern was not ritual, but revelation, for he understood the power of aligning with the Father before the day took its first breath. His footsteps echo in this final hour, reminding all who follow him that to rise before the light is to walk with eternity itself. The promises he carried were always sealed with action at the break of morning, as though each sunrise was a signature of heaven's covenant with earth. Yet for those who stand in this hour now, there is always a question pressing against the soul. The silence is not passive. It demands response. The sky grows brighter. The moment draws near, and everything within you senses that what you choose to release now will determine the course of what unfolds after the light arrives. But the hour does not wait forever. It passes quickly, vanishing into the brilliance of day. And as the first edge of sun breaks across the horizon, one truth lingers like fire in the bones. What miracle waits to be unlocked in the breath between night and morning?
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.